A lot of people don't know that I make the beats to my own songs, so today I wanted to break down AM Chord and show you how I made the beat for that song. The BPM for this track is 126 and the track is in the G major scale. My intentions when I went in for this, it was like kind of in a little period where I was just trying to experiment with my beats and push it further because I felt like I was doing the same thing. What I wanted to do was first of all, was have a bit more of a happy tune. So I got my grand piano here and I set out some chords. These are the chords for the song. I don't know, I'm just really in love with the piano recently. It's a staple in most songs, so that's what I try to do because I want to get those more melodic textures into my music. Yeah, I'm not gonna break down all the chords and stuff like that because to be honest with you, I can't even remember what half of these chords are called, but I know that my intention with the track and I did it mostly with feeling, so that's what we're gonna go with. Here I have the chord progression going. And what I did for this is what I've been trying to do with most of my pianos lately is kind of break it up. A lot of time we have a lot of static chords where it's just like a stab or one bar kind of thing. Like I could have done dun, 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 dun. But what I have done here is to take the chords and then I have little bits that give it the rhythm and that make it less dynamic, because naturally when you're playing you wouldn't just go dun, dun, unless you're playing like a slow ballady song. You would go dun, 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 dun. So it depends. As well as rhythm within your drums, you can also find rhythm within your piano. I also like to add the bass notes of the chords within my main piano to make it sound fuller, and then little extra notes on top of it for the melody. So I like layering my piano chords. Later on in the verses and all that stuff, then I might go in and change some chords, tweak it, just move a note here, there, just kind of mix it up so the listener doesn't get bored of the same thing, because as well as the lyrics you gotta know with the music and everything, so there's a lot of thought that goes into it. For example, I also have additional piano notes at the end. Yes, I kind of just freestyled that. There was no kind of planning with that. I was just like, what can I do with the piano that sounds natural, and I took that and tried to play with it. Because a lot of the times we play in loops, so we'll do one and then stop, but sometimes what I like to do is just let it record and try and just freestyle, do a little riff, jam, and then take those bits and just refine it afterwards, because I don't know, it just makes the music sound a lot more natural, more moving, more human. For the lead piano, for the verses, I switched it up. I went into Spitfire Audio soft piano and then used that with a bit of like a reverb and delay, and then Pancake 2 piano by the Cable Guys. These are some free plugins I've acquired over the years, and my piano is also panned to the left. So this is where the melody comes from. I can't remember how I did the melody actually. I took some of the bass notes from the lead piano. This is the first time I'm doing a production breakdown. I'm not gonna lie, I cannot remember for the life of me how I made that piano riff. I must have freestyled it and then refined it afterwards, and I randomized the notes for different velocities as well. I have a punchy piano, which I don't know, I thought it would be quite cool to experiment with a monotone note. I have this throughout the whole verse there and the first chorus. And again, like I said, the goal with this track was to make something more happy, upbeat, and I wasn't too intentional with like the chords or anything like that. A lot of this is just freestyled, whatever I think sounded good. So the orchestra harp riff, that's probably just me getting on my keyboard, on my computer keyboard here, and just doing because lately I've also been trying to experiment with rhythm when it comes to melodies and stuff like that. Just kind of, I don't know, what I was making was quite static, so for this one I really wanted it to be a bit more melodious and have different counter melodies happen at the same time. Some might say it's even too much. So we have, yeah, so that's the main melody with the Native American flute. Again, kind of the same rhythms here, I'm not really changing up much. And then I come down here to have the same melody that I had in my orchestra harp, I also have in this Chinese Eru violin. I don't know if I said that right. But what I did with the Chinese violin is I definitely transposed that melody. The root note is A, and with the Chinese violin, the root note is a C. I had that, so it sounds different. Yeah, the bass I kept very simple. I tried to stick to the root notes, but I also wanted to add a bit more of a melody. When I make basses on my DAW, what I like to imagine is that I'm playing the bass for real. Like, how, if I was a bass player, how would I play to this bass? So I don't always get the same 1, 2, 3, 4 rhythm, like a also makes the track sound a bit groovy. And as you can see here in the project, there's obviously places where you see the MIDIs kind of vary, is places where I've gone in and changed the notes myself just to add a bit of a variation to the verse or chorus or whatever. But for the most part, I like to keep it the same. Yes, I've been having a lot of fun with the drums recently. I've been really into kind of poppy, kind of house drums, just simple, because I felt like when I tried to do like hip hop type drums, I was just always sticking to the same thing. I think a lot of this song, AM Cool, is put down to me feeling like I'm always doing the same thing when it comes to my production, so I try to switch it up. The drums sound like the kick is very simple. The kick is like a yeah. For this one, I didn't even bother looking through my sample sounds. I just went straight to a Logic stock drum kit and decided to mess around with that. And for me, I was delighted. I got the hi-hats. You also have pedal hi-hats and open hi-hats. And so that's what you kind of hear mixed into the hi-hats. Kind of like how you would know on a normal drum kit, which with all that rhythm going on, it has this little groove to it, which I really enjoyed and I really like. But all of this I made directly onto my laptop. Like I used the my actual laptop keyboard, and then I will go in and then change stuff within the MIDI pattern in Logic. If you're wondering what DAW I'm using. I know in modern songs we don't really get bridges anymore, but I love bridges. I grew up on metal, so I always loved the breakdown. That's what I'm trying to incorporate more into my songs, because I always used to have these weird little wacky bridges that sounded completely separate from the song itself. I was very bad at transitions, so I thought I would like drop that altogether and just stick to like a normal song structure, which would be intro, verse, chorus, end, or some people now do chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. I don't know. I have the piano that comes in with a different note, causes tension, which then resolves itself when the normal loop comes in. So you can see that here, that little extended bit that I don't have on any other part of the pianos. I stripped it of the drums, obviously, until I add some towards the end. But here we've just got cymbals going, and as you can see with these lot down here, a lot of it is just kind of programmed in, freestyled, and then I go in and then change it up. I just really enjoy doing a bridge like this, so that's why I did. So that's really what went into the production of my song. All of that there, apart from the Spitfire Labs audio, is stock plugins from Logic. Sounded very basic, but I just really liked them. There wasn't much that I did in terms of like sound design or anything like that. Like there's a few things I added to the Chinese violin, like an amp, but for the most part, yeah man, I didn't touch those instruments. I just left them the way they were. I was gonna end it on a chorus, but I decided actually no, go against the grain. I think this sounds sick. Adds into replayability as well, because you only get the chorus once, so you want to hear it again. That was the bare bones of the ideas that I had, and look at the full song it turned into now. I'm kind of surprised myself having heard that back. That is the production breakdown of AM Cool. Like, happy with it. So it sounded good. Yeah, it sounded good. I love when experimentation works out. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to watch this video. If you like the content that I make, go check it. Don't know what that was. If you like the content that I make, you can watch more of it here. And make sure to go check out AM Cool. It's on Spotify, and I'll see you next time. Peace, shalom, bye. Fuck's sake. Buffering, so. No, it does.